Right, Louis, Lifestyle Legacy Podcast. We need to start with the tradition.
Episode 1.
Episode 1. And I obviously know you. Our clients know you.
Yeah.
But this is like the first time, obviously, you'll be on YouTube, Instagram, social media. So Louis is one of the coaches at Flip Physiques, which is soon rebranding. So just give a little bit of an intro into who you are, what you do, who you help.
So yeah, I've been in the fitness industry for almost just over 10 years. Not including education, about 11 years. Took an interest to fitness at an early age. When I was, I've always been into like kind of, motivational stuff. Like back in the day, even before it's now become a thing on social media. I was always like trying to think elite and trying to, win every day and have the correct attitude to life and have that kind of glass half full attitude to everything that I've ever done. But got into fitness at around 17. Was playing football before that. To be honest, growing up, I would say I was an overweight kid. So then I found the weights room, and then I kind of discovered from there, kind of by accident, I went just to lift, narcissistically for looks, and then I just kind of discovered that's a great way to lose a lot of weight by lifting.
It always starts off that way, doesn't it? Because you hate where you are.
100%. And so started lifting weights for about 6 months, just trying to like get in shape to kind of like get some attention with girls, and then realized this works. And I was like, it was actually funny enough, it was actually back then that I realized like lifting weights is like a very effective way to just get body fat off you. Having said that, I was 17, I was going for a growth spurt as well, so combined the two together, and the outcome was got like relatively lean pretty quick, started to like put on a little bit of muscle. Don't get me wrong, I was never like, didn't look like a bodybuilder, but just looked more defined, more toned and more athletic. So it set me off on a good foot going into like my early, late teens, early 20s.
Yeah, and like obviously since you've joined Flip Physiques, working with obviously physique clients, high performance clients, working on health, what would you say that one of the biggest like philosophies you want to embed on them is? What's the biggest thing that helps people get a result all around?
It's got to be kind of like their attitude towards themselves and their limiting beliefs, and literally like the stuff that we're drilling into our boys and our girls and our clients at Flip is the fact that you don't have to be someone special to get special results and to think a certain way. Everyone is entitled to think a certain way, to think more optimal, to go about their day in a better fashion from the minute that they wake up. And it's kind of like embedded into us that we're average sometimes when we're not.
For sure.
We've all got potential to be much more. It's very cliche to say that, but it's so true. You can run your day and operate your day on a much higher level than you actually are at this moment, and that most people are at this moment in time. And until you get over them limiting beliefs, you just can fall into that trap of actually thinking that you're average.
And what would you say the biggest difference is? Because we've had this discussion like off camera.
Yeah.
Usually the people that are like excelling in anything in life, it could be in a certain sport, it could be with their physique, it could be with their health, if something's made them go on a major health kick, business, wealth. Usually the super successful people are the ones that one day were like right down here, almost bullied or had a big insecurity about that. What would you say is the difference in traits between the sort of people that were insecure about it and then took action and then became leaders in their field? Because we both said like we both got into fitness originally because of that insecurity, and then that drove us to excel in it. But then what about those people who are insecure but don't take action? What do you think the reason behind that is?
I think again it is just going back to them limiting beliefs and no one actually telling them that they can achieve much more. They've probably got a thought, but they're not acting upon that thought. Like for example, like like I said, from an early age, we're set up to feel very average. And I feel like if you already have insecurities within yourself, like we've all got insecurities, but you know, I bet you Zac Efron's got insecurities, Justin Bieber's got insecurities.
Even you've got insecurities looking like that, bro.
Exactly. So, you know, I think you start to think that your insecurities then start to dominate your life, and then you don't take action because you just can't break through that. You almost need people around you that believe in you. Yeah. And then after a while of them believing in you, you start to perform in a certain way or get results. So for example, if it's a fitness program, you start getting results, and then you actually start to go, hang on a minute, I can do more, I can be more, and I'm not just average. And these insecurities don't mean shit to me. They're just something that was stuck in my head. Like 99% of stuff in life's all in your head. So
because that is one thing we push hard, isn't it, with clients? Like there are clients that join with us and we push them really fucking hard at the start from a belief standpoint. And then just being around that high frequency, having that belief, they then push through, and they're like, the amount of times clients have come back and said, Tom, I'm so fucking grateful. Like you pushed me through. Like I've had a couple of clients where they're like first week in, or even on a discovery call at the start, and they just don't like belief. And I'll lay in, I'll be like, look, mate, honestly, you've got it there, because I can see it. And if I let them go when I know they're capable, I've then done them a massive injustice, letting them go through the life and not achieve what they're capable of just because of a self-belief. They have a problem, we have a solution, they just don't believe it. But then if they're around us, obviously then they're going to achieve that, guaranteed. But do you think you had, what was the role you had in your life that supported you to get you there, or was that all intrinsic? Did you know, like at the very start, even when you felt insecure, did you have that feeling of, I still know I'm going to be there, I just don't know how?
Yeah, like I've always had that, like it's probably, well, I don't even think it's a bad trait. I've always had that bit of arrogance that I can do better.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I think like to operate and to achieve things in your life, you've got to go, fuck this, I can do better, and I know I can. So that's why I've always, like, for example, that's how I've ended up in Dubai. I've gone, I want a better life. So I've had that arrogance to the point where you've got to kind of, even if you don't think it, you've got to trick yourself to think it. So even now to this day, I'm like, nah, I'm still capable of way much more. I'm an underachiever.
And would you say you had that mindset embedded in you from family or people around you? Where would you say that came from?
Do you know what? I've thought about this long and hard. I think it's just more like, I don't know. I've just had this feeling inside. I've never had like a role model there that's gone, you can do better. I've kind of just like, this sounds crazy, but I've kind of like, growing up, you're just watching TV and seeing life that's out there. And obviously now that it's YouTube, but back then it was like movies and shit. And I'm like, I want to make my life a bit more
You
cooler.
know there's more.
Yeah, that sounds a bit wild. Like, oh, movies inspired me to want more in life. But like, you know, I grew up watching freaking Terminator 2 and Arnold. I remember watching Arnold and thinking like,
so you were like inspired by role models in the industry.
Yeah, and then watching sport growing up and watching teams do really well, like, and watching what can be achieved in life, and just kind of like stuff that's on the TV, and you know, superheroes, if you like. It's a bit cheesy, but I never had where I'm from is a little small town called Weymouth on the south coast. There isn't really anyone there that's like a cut above everyone else, and you're going, fucking hell, that person's levels. Like, I want to achieve that. You see, the only way you're getting that is literally through the TV.
And what were your thoughts then when you came to Dubai? Did you get to Dubai and think, okay, there's so many people so far ahead and that drives me? Or did you come to Dubai and think, actually, you know what? These guys have just put the work in? Because that's what I did, you know. I came to Dubai and I was like, there's people who are really successful. Yeah. But then I laid out myself next to them and I was like, but they're technically no better. Yeah. They've just done more action for 100%. Longer periods of time than me. So I remember coming home and having a conversation with my mum after I got back from Dubai the first time. Yeah. And I was like, it sounds really weird, but I got there and I was like, no one's got anything on me. Nah, like, they've just done more. Yeah. They've invested in themselves more and they've had more time to go at it. So that almost, you know, I came back then thinking, nah, I've just got to do the work now.
Yeah, reps.
And that's why I hammer it on people. Do the reps and invest in the skills and the mindset and the knowledge, because no one who's killing it is like super special. No. Like I think people put everyone on a pedestal. Whereas actually they're just action takers. That's how I see it.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like you know yourself, when you've been in this environment long enough and you've met like elite level people, there isn't actually anything elite. Like you said, what they've done and what they've done differently is they've put the reps in and they've put them in consistently, and they've got through that wall of limiting beliefs.
It's just a mindset trait, isn't it? That's the difference.
It's a mindset. Like the difference between, obviously you've got talent in certain areas, but a lot of stuff where to be successful, you don't necessarily need talent. You know, if you're going to be successful in sport, to some degree, you're going to need talent. But if you're going to be successful in life and you want to make, you know, a good income and meaningful relationships, and then you can do that by applying, getting over them self-beliefs, and then just applying repetition after repetition after repetition. And this is like obviously something that we're super big on. But, well, between me and you know, we are hammering these clients, and we want them to, you know, elevate to this level and this mindset, and we want them to wake up every day almost thinking, well, they are special, and thinking that they're special, and knowing that they're special, and knowing that they're going to operate on a higher frequency that day, and, you know, they're going to win that day, and nothing's going to get in their way.
Yeah, and that's part of the rebrand, isn't it? Like, effectively, like, we're not going to give away the name or anything on here, but the rebrand is happening because this one started because I got in great shape, and I was like, I feel so much better because I've gone from the very bottom to you're the guy that just can't get in shape genetically. You're an ectomorph. You just can't gain muscle, whatever. To then having a really good physique. And I was like, this feels so good. I want to share that with the world. And then it got to a point where I love business as well, and then operating on a high level from a mindset and a productivity level. And then I was obviously networking with a lot of people and had a lot of big business opportunities come around. And now this business we're rebranding on the back of, first of all, it was, I want to show people how good it feels to get in shape. And now I also want to show people how to get in shape, but live their like dream lifestyle, get into their dream career, operate on that higher level. So yes, we are physique coaching, and that is like the number one pillar in the programs. However, it's all about then learning how to operate on a higher level, mindset development, and all of the opportunities that then brings. Because the amount of people that have now gone self-employed off the back of working with us when we're physique coaching, because we cover so much mindset work with them, the amount of people that have become, you know, online coaches, they've had, you know, huge pay rises, they're business owners, and their turnover's gone up 25% in like 4 months of working with us. It's because they're operating on a higher level with routine, with productivity. The habits that come from working on your fitness and your physique then go into other areas. So look, if we can kind of show the world now, I feel like our mission now is not only show the world how good it feels to have a great physique and be respected and have more confidence, but show the world how good it feels to operate on that level, create the lifestyle you want, live where you want, operate how you want. So now it's my mission. If someone asks, Tom, I want to be able to do this, I'm like, yeah, class. If we've got that movie character vision, you're going to look like this, we'll get you there. And then these habits will also allow you to operate like this, and we'll get you there. So like our vision now is much more creating people a lifestyle rather than just the physique.
I mean, the lads that come to us, we want them to live life on their terms. And I think a lot of people are living life on other people's terms. So they're going to, you know, jobs they don't like, and they're coming to you. And, you know, we've had clients come to us recently, and they're like, look, I want to do this. I want to work for myself. I'm like, where do I start? And we always bring it back to, right, well, let's start with your physique, because we can get your physique in a better place. We can get you eating better food. You're automatically, just by doing that, you're going to start running at a more optimal level. I've been doing it myself recently. I've been eating clean, and I just feel like superhuman, and like I wake up in the morning with more clarity. I've got way more self-belief, like way more confidence, just from tidying up the diet and living a lifestyle that I should have been living for a long time ago. But yeah, we want these guys to come to us and go, I want to live life on my terms, and then it's our duty to get them to that point where they can do that and think like that every single day. Because you know, we see them question themselves. They come to us, they question themselves. Louis, Tom, I don't think this is right for me right now. I just don't think I can do it. Or I'm not quite ready. And we're like, well, why aren't you ready?
On a discovery call, people have a lot of uncertainty on their like ability on if they because a lot of people, they come wanting freedom. That's it.
Yeah.
They want freedom and they want to be the best version of themselves physically. But so many people lack belief in that, don't they?
Yeah, massively. I mean, like you said, they come with all these blocks, and then they walk in, and straight away we're like, give myself or Tom 1 hour with them, and we can get them to think like that day, and we can get them excited. And then obviously from there, that excitement's going to dip as the weeks go on. But then when they get into their program, they create momentum.
And it's routine,
Yeah, and it becomes routine. Then they actually start to believe it.
We have a little system. I've actually just recorded this for the new portal today, called the Confidence Creator. And that's all about putting in the work, understanding what you've got to do. So what habits do you need to do every day? So focus on the standards, and then do those standards, one more rep on those standards. And every single day, your self-worth's going to go up because you're doing what you need to do.
Yeah.
And you're just going to absolutely fly, you know?
100%. And like a lot of people, like when they grow up and they're confident, why are they confident? 9 times out of 10, they've got parents that have like fed them with, you're the best, you can do anything you want, blah, 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 blah. And then you got the other end where maybe people haven't filled them full of that confidence. And now maybe they're in their early 20s or they're in their 30s. They come to us, and then like the way I speak to my clients and communicate to my clients, and I genuinely mean it, is like, you're capable of so much more. You can do that. Oh, I can't do this today. I don't feel like you can. Then they do it, and they come and they say, Louis, that's all I needed you to do. I just needed you to push me in the right direction, get me out my own head, get me stopping feeling sorry for myself, and I've done it. And now, then next time they go to that question, next time they have that struggle the next day, they just do it themselves automatically. I'm like, hang on, I'm in control of my own fate here. I can control if something comes into my head and it's a block, I can just brush it out of the way and just crack straight on. So
what would you say to someone at home watching if they wake up tomorrow and they just don't have the motivation at all?
Yeah.
What's your piece of advice? They wake up in the morning, they've got no motivation, they have a goal, they've got a dream, but they have no motivation to do any action towards it. What would you do then?
Well, they need to firstly try. So obviously, like Nike said, they just need to do it. So they need to start. That's the greatest slogan of all time, because it is so simple and so effective. So if they come to us, that means they've already gone in their own head, I want to make a change. So step one, they're thinking about it. Okay.
And if you're thinking about it, it means your brain is telling you are capable of this.
Yeah.
You've just got to find out how to get there, right?
Yeah, that's it. So they've already thought about it. Now, just because you have a thought about something doesn't mean that you're going to act on it, because then again, the barriers, the question marks start coming into your head, the self-doubt starts kicking in. So the next step is usually they've contacted a coach. So they might contact us, and then they're going to jump on a call, and then it's our job to show them the path and show them that they can do it, and almost so that they can flick a switch and go, I can do this. Why did I ever think like that? And then it's only till week 2 to 3 where they start, the momentum slowly gathering pace, and they start thinking, oh shit, like then they see a little bit of results. Say week 4, they start, seeing their first ab or whatever it may be. They start, feeling that they might have dropped loads of weight in that first 4 weeks. They might have dropped a few pounds, and then they're thinking, hang on, all I need to do now is carry on, rinse and repeat this, put one foot in front of the other and take it step by step, win the next day. I speak to him, there's that clip that goes round of, I think it's Rogan, he's like, if you win enough days, you win enough weeks. If you win enough weeks, you win enough months. Yeah. And I pump that into my clients, because I know like it's just so true.
I think people go wrong and they don't win the first day. Like the first day, And I think people have like a goal way too often where they think, I want to be here in life, I want to be here with my physique. But whenever an opportunity comes to action it, they don't jump, they just stay there. Yeah. Whereas the truth is, you have to jump, you have to make a conscious decision to make that first step. Yeah. Which is the toughest thing for people because of those self-belief factors. But if you make that first step to be fully committed and invest in yourself, yeah, and then you go one foot in front of the other, then you're going to see results. Yeah. And those results are going to fuel motivation. So it's motivation comes from doing the work. Yeah. You can't rely on motivation to start the process. You have to just fucking do it. Yeah. And discipline is built by disciplining yourself. Yeah, like people just think discipline's going to fall on you. No, you've got to discipline yourself by doing something you don't want to do and just fucking doing it. So a conscious decision to start, that's then going to get you results. That's then going to get you motivated, keep you flowing, yeah, and you're disciplining your action every day, and that's going to increase your discipline and then your confidence because you're doing stuff you didn't always want to do. Yeah,
the only way you're going to get disciplined is doing stuff that requires you to be disciplined. There's no cheat code.
Yeah, I think people look straight through the word, like discipline someone, like if you take it back, if you were like, if you were disciplining a kid, it would mean you're making them do something they don't want to do. You're telling them what to do, even though their emotion doesn't want to do that. So to discipline yourself means this is what needs to be done. I don't feel like doing it, and I'm going to fucking do it. Yeah. People just don't like see through what that word means. Yeah. And I think that's one of the biggest things.
But I also like going back to like, some of our clients, they're going to have to do uncomfortable things to make progress. And it's only uncomfortable because they're not used to doing it.
For sure.
But when you start getting used to doing things and you see the other side of the curtain, you start to think to yourself, actually, I'm quite comfortable being uncomfortable. I know that sounds ridiculous, but it's like, so at the start of their plan, they've got to do a certain amount of steps, say for instance, or they might have cardio in their program, or they've got to train, they've got to prep their food. And then after a while, they just find ways to make that uncomfortableness comfortable.
And how many times have you heard, like, someone who starts the process, that first week is a little bit uncomfortable, and then 4 weeks in the process, they've got like a weekend away, and we're like, no, just go enjoy the weekend away, but approach it like this, and they find it then weird not doing it. Yeah. So what was once uncomfortable, it's now uncomfortable to do their old shitty lifestyle. Yeah. Like, and that's the thing. Yeah. It's habits. It becomes a lifestyle. So just pushing yourself out the comfort zone will become comfortable, and then you can push that level again.
Yeah, and you can move. Yeah, exactly. You can raise the bar. I've got clients that are literally going on anniversaries with their girlfriends, and they're that focused now, and they're full of that much confidence that I have to tell them to ease off.
Yeah, for sure.
I've got a client this weekend just gone, and he's going, I've got my 2-year anniversary with my girl. He's a young lad, he's like probably 21, 22, and he goes, here's the menu, what can I eat, coach? And I'm like, just relax, get a bit of protein in there. No, but I'm in the zone now, I'm having it.
That's because people, when they're seeing results,
they're into it.
It makes you so fucking hungry for more results. And that's just like, that's just a story in it. Like, the start, it's uncomfortable, but then it's like, results are addictive. The reason like people don't want to get into it is because they're just not seeing results. Yeah. Exactly. But if you do the same thing you've always done, you're going to get the same results. You're going to
get the same results, 100%.
So what are your thoughts on balance? Obviously that kind of came into balance. What would you say your thoughts are around what you've got to do to get results? Do you think there should be balance? Do you think there shouldn't? What?
No, but again, going back to getting comfortable, being uncomfortable, getting comfortable in the process of being uncomfortable, like, what is balance and what does that actually mean? Like, for example, say I'm on plan and I'm 16 weeks because I'm following a plan, because at the end of the 16 weeks, it requires me to have no balance. Within that doesn't mean, like, an example would be like, I've got to cook all my food this week and go to the gym 4 times in amongst maybe work. But Saturday I can't go out drinking, but what I can do is I can go to the cinema with my girlfriend. Yeah. Like, is that really that hard?
It's just lifestyle mastery, isn't it? It's not like
you're mastering your lifestyle. And then you do them things, and you think, hang on, I didn't need to go out and have 25 drinks last night. Like I actually like got to spend quality, meaningful time with my girlfriend. I've followed my plan. This isn't actually as bad as, I'm not in prison.
Yeah.
Like this is nothing. This is child's play.
Yeah, and a lot of clients find this. So when they're in their old lifestyle before, food sources are inconsistent, there's alcohol in the mix, there's poor lifestyle decisions, they're always kind of operating on a pretty low level, but it feels normal for them.
Yeah.
So then if they were to go out, get pissed, or eat Domino's 2 nights in a row, they don't even feel much worse because their baseline is so low.
Yeah.
Whereas then once they've come into a phase where they're operating on such a high level, then if they were to go and we said, look, it's fine, you can go take a day off, you can do this, whatever. The day after, because they're used to such a high new baseline, operating on such a high level, they then feel so low, and it feels lower than it were before, but that's just their old baseline. Yeah. So they then consciously want to make the decision, no, I want to go to a restaurant, I want to eat really well. So we don't even need to tell them at that point, because once they're operating on that level, they go make a decision that they once made before. Yeah. But then they're choosing that I don't want to make them decisions anymore, because that makes me feel like complete shit, and they want to stay on that high level. Yeah. Like that happens all the time.
You take alcohol away from someone for 2 months, 8 weeks, and then you go at the end of that 2 months, I'm going to stick you in a pub with all your mates and you're going to drink. The next day, they will pray for that 8 weeks to be happening again. Yeah. Because they will notice the difference. Like you said, they draw a new baseline on feeling like shit. Everyone is just walking around operating, feeling like shit. I've been guilty of it. You've probably been guilty of it. Like
how frequent do you drink?
Now, barely ever. Barely ever. Like this year, probably 5 times.
And is that from not choosing to drink? Like, I'm not a big drinker.
Yeah.
But it's not. Do you know what? For me, it does have an impact on your physique. Yeah. But for me personally, I don't drink because it impacts how I operate mentally.
Yeah, that's exactly the same.
Is it the same for you?
Well, it just doesn't serve me as much anymore. I have nothing against it. I'm not going to think, oh, I'm up here because I don't drink and you're down there. Not at all. I've drunk for many years.
Yeah, if I go Ibiza, I'll have a drink. But when I'm in a normal flow, I want to be on this frequency all the time.
At the moment, I'm in this headspace of every day I'm working, I'm in a 7-day flow, as I like to say. And I don't want no one to take me out that 7-day flow, because then I start to feel uncomfortable with it starts affecting my productivity. And when my productivity is affected, that affects my happiness.
Yeah, your mood's down.
Exactly. Mad. If I go out tonight and then tomorrow, I'm not going to, my mental state's going to be way out and my frequency is going to be lowered. And I don't want to feel like that anymore.
I think an easy fix for it is with alcohol is, if you've got someone who's got such a big vision, they won't want to drink that frequently. It's not that they can't drink, but they won't want to drink that frequently, because then, yes, one drink technically is not going to do too much, like one night of drinking, but then if they're then operating on a lower frequency for a few days, they then feel unfulfilled because they're not doing what needs to be done in their head to pursue their big goals. Yeah. And I want to know that I've done pretty much everything I can every day. There's still lifestyle balance in that. Yeah. But I never want to go into that next day feeling like shit, or feeling anxious because I've had alcohol, or feeling like I'm just getting nothing done, wasting days.
If you can manage it, then I don't have a problem with that, and I don't think anyone else should. But me personally, where I'm at in my life, alcohol doesn't serve me. And if there's a time to celebrate, I'll celebrate. But right now, it doesn't serve me. I'm not in a place where I want to add it in as a social, because I just don't get anything out of it anymore. I get out of life on the weekends, for example, because that's when you're more likely to drink. I get out more, spending quality time with people I like.
So what would be your ideal social?
And right now, my ideal social, I'm old. I like going to the cinema now on a Saturday night and treating myself to the salmon and mash.
But everyone in the UK might not get salmon at the cinema, bro.
But I've built my life now to the point where my social is, I'll go up the gym. So I train at TK. You obviously train there. And that, like, there should be a TV show on that place. So you go up there every day, there's a UFC fighter or a professional boxer or someone, the energy in there's high. That for me scratches my social itch. So I don't feel like I need to be in a club. I can go to the gym. I can go, today I went to the boxing class and spoke to people. I've gone home. That's enough for me.
For sure. I'd say the same. That's the biggest thing. And I'd say in the last 18, 24 months for me, my social's gone from, I'll go meet a mate and we'll just chill in the car or whatever, or we'll go out on a night out, to every single social I have is productive. This is my social.
Yeah, same.
I got to check in with my clients. I got to speak to all my clients. I got to, like, that's social for me. I'm interacting with loads of people. I could be on a podcast. I could be training with somebody. I could be going for a business meeting. I could be going to a coffee shop. I could be going on a walk with someone. We're talking about business. We're both leveling up. We're both bringing something to the table, but it's socializing. I only get out of a social, like I only take anything personally from it if I'm getting like good conversations. They're taking value from me. I'm taking value from them. It's like give and take. Me going in a loud, like rowdy club, can't hear anyone, and I'm just like, what's the point? Like, you know.
Like I said, I've got nothing against people that want to go to them clubs. Just personally for me, I'm getting like great joy out of waking up on a Saturday morning, going to the coffee shop, getting a coffee, walking along the beach, and like, I will dip my toes back into to a drink. Probably, I'm not I'm not completely sober. However, like for example, maybe me and you will plan some trips, and we'll end up one time in, I don't know, for example, we might be in Vegas for the day. And then we're filming some content, and then from there we end up going to a club. Like that for me is okay, but right here, right now in Dubai, I'm here to focus. And you know, the next day when I'm doing my check-ins, I want to be coming across on camera to my clients with good high energy. I don't want to be hungover. That's like a disservice to them. And,
for sure.
And I just not in that where I'm at this moment in time. I'm just not. I want to be at that highest frequency possible, and I know alcohol really affects that. So,
and I'm the same. Like, if I were to drink, like the other week, I was in Ibiza.
You was.
Like, even if I'm in Ibiza, I picked carefully who I went with. They're still very business focused. We were in VIP, walking around, speaking with potential like executive clients, CEO clients. And making good connections that are going to help within business and give value to people. We can take value from them. And yes, it was a place where there was drinks involved, but every conversation I had with every lad, they were all there for one reason. It was to have a good time, but also network. Like you'll find, I think like the high performers, they may be going out and they may be at tables and have 20 girls around them, but they're always talking to other men, both improving themselves, whether that's self-development, a new idea in business or whatever. But it's not just there for, let's gossip, let's talk shit and let's get smashed. Like even when there's drinks involved, it's always usually something business related.
You're going to chat to, what do you do? I live in Dubai. Okay, what do you do? And then, what do you do? I live in London. I work in the financial sector in London. And then from there, but
it opens new doors, doesn't it? Like new connections.
But you're like, what I like about you is you're 23 years old, and you're the only 23-year-old guy I know that can go to Ocean Beach. And you were texting me from Ocean Beach, just like I've got talking about work, and I was probably more like let your hair down a little bit, but that's because you're at a stage right now where you want to put your foot on the gas pedal, and then when you're maybe 30, like. Obviously the difference between me and you, I'm 32, you're 23, so we're completely different ends of the spectrum, but your mindset's more what my mindset should be right now, right? But you're so focused to the point where you can be in Ocean Beach, arguably the best beach club in the world, surrounded by some of the best looking ladies in the UK, and you're focused on work. And that was one of the reasons why when we come together we work so well, because that blows my head that you think like that. Because when I was 23, I'd have been like
running at the women,
running amok with Wayne Lineker probably.
Do you know what though? Like I'm not like I used to be.
Yeah.
I used to be the guy that was like a little skinny guy, and I'd like be looking over at girls like that all the time, and I'd be like,
Yeah.
oh, she's so fit, when I was 18.
Yeah.
And then since I went down like the route of I am only focused on my own journey now, right? Like all I want to do is become the very best version of myself, and then share that with everyone and give as many people value as possible, right? Sure. So now if I'm in Ocean, if that was me 3-4 years ago, and I was trying to chat up girls, you'd get like some attention, you get something. But now I go in Ocean, mate, and I'm talking to other high performing lads.
Yeah.
And you get more attention from women.
Yeah,
like you get groups of girls coming over, like budging into you or like just approaching you confidently, because you're not even looking at women. You're just chatting in groups of lads or one-on-one with lads looking professional.
Yeah.
And then women are actually attracted to it. They're like, who's he?
It's the aura.
Yeah, like then like they don't want guys who are going around running after women, going around every group of girls who are chasing it. Because I mean, if you're just chatting to lads, they're like, oh, what's he doing? He's got, like, why is he not chasing girls?
Well, that's why when guys go out and they've got girlfriends, they're like, why do I get more attention when I got a girlfriend? And that's exactly why. True. It's the energy that you're putting off. If you're running around Ocean Beach. If you're running around Ocean Beach, I know, like a horny freaking dog, then I don't know, you just come across too keen. Whereas, like you said, because you were stood there, like you probably had this mysterious. Well, you're 6 foot fucking 4 or something, so you'd stand out like a sore thumb in there with a tan, and you got big shoulders. So if you're in there like just chatting, like you said, like girls are gonna think to themselves like, who is this? It's that mystery. It's that element of mystery. But I was saying the other day, well, me and you were talking about it off camera, about like how weird it was, like, whereas kind of I envy you a little bit in terms of like you're 23 and I'm 32, but when I was your age, I was at university, and like the thing to do was like party. It was still like 90s, 2000s, 2010. It was like, all right, you're at uni, let's party. But now, because of the likes of TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, people are seeing, and a lot of my clients, they're seeing this different lifestyle. I was actually chatting to it with a guy in the gym today, and we were saying it's like a double-edged sword, isn't it? And he was like, oh, it would have been good though, like to have grown up in that era now where you can do stuff like online coaching, or you can see a world from a different light. Because back then it was like, go to college, finish, who's out on Saturday, or student night Tuesday, Wednesday. And
if there were a random guy like that, no one would know of them.
Yeah, sure.
They'd just be in the shadows.
Sure, exactly. And like now it's out there, so it's an interesting crossover where we work together, and we're from like essentially a different one generation.
But yeah, we're both in like the same phase of life.
Yeah, was it a decade, 10 years? Yeah, like we're a decade apart, and it's good. Like like I said, I'm kind of not jealous, because everyone's there'll be people in 10 years and you'll be like, oh, I couldn't do what they did. I wish that was there.
Yeah, because what people are doing now at like 20 to 23, we're coaching guys. Like there's in one of our coaching programs, I mean, there's guys in there at 16, 17, and they're now learning to operate on a different level, and they're going self-employed between 14 and 17. Yeah. And I'm like, Jesus, like people are going to me, you're so young for doing what you've done. Mm-hmm. And then I'm coaching what I've shared from working with mentors down to guys who are like 7 years younger than me. And I'm like, I think that's only going to get younger. I think 14 is going to be the new 22, 23.
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing this trend at the moment. And like, do you know what? It's quite impressive. Like everyone says the world's going to this bad place, but I don't actually necessarily see that. Maybe it's just my glass half thinking. But I'm seeing these 21, 22-year-olds. They're like finding a nice girl. They're focused on training, health, and they are tunnel vision. Some of the lads I'm working with, like the stuff they say to me, I'm like, look, listen, if you think like this now, you're putting all the right steps in to have a really like, you know, the 4 pillars of life is like health, wealth, love, and happiness, and they're putting all the right things in place now to like go into their 20s and you know, be more successful, more happy, because you know they're not going down this path, they're going down this good positive path, and like I'm just like so happy for them.
Yeah, and that's why it's really good, because obviously we've got our different coaching programs, and we've got somewhere we're working with big CEOs, executives working on like a really high operating level, health, mental focus, physique, fitness, all of that.
Yeah.
But then we've also got the programs where we're working with these up and coming youths who are driven for careers, fitness, physiques, and like they're just so switched on, and it's pretty cool because like you're working with almost like mini me's of like before, and you see your own traits in them, and you're like, this 100%. Is so cool. And like I've got a few clients who are like 19 now who I've worked with for like 2 years, and I'm literally just seeing them like morph. From a physique standpoint, but from a mindset standpoint. So the balance of working with them top level CEOs, but then also having a program where we're bringing mini me's up and they're operating at a really high level, mentally as well as from a physique standpoint at such a young age, is class.
Well, I think it's our mission statement between me and you to, you know, it's exciting that we can be a part of like helping this next generation perform and live at such an optimal, life. And I just feel like you know, helping these kids, I buzz off it.
And what would you also say to a 28, 30, 32-year-old guy who is thinking, you know what, I might have a kid on the way, I might already have a kid, he might be single, but he knows he's capable of more, but he's already in his head thinking, it's a bit late now. What would you say to him if he knows he's capable of more physical, like mentally, career? What would you say to him? Do you think he's still got time?
Yeah, this day and age, I think like the 30s are the new 20s. I think obviously everyone's living longer, they're living more healthier, and they're going to have created these limiting beliefs that now they've hit this milestone in life of like maybe early 30s, that it's a downhill spiral, when in fact it can be the polar opposite. We can get, we've got guys working with us that are like in their 30s.
The majority of guys are late 20s, 30s, aren't they?
Yeah, even like, I think my oldest is like 39, 40, and like they end up changing their habits so much to a point where they start to feel 21 again because they're excited about their life. They wake up in the morning and, you know, they feel better because they're eating better, they're training better. They're almost proud of themselves to the point where they start going, I can do way more here. I'm just getting going. Yeah,
because how many times do we hear the 32-year-old guy come to us and go, I just want to get back to where we were at 22.
Yeah.
And I'm like, really? Or do you want to get better? Yeah. And they just don't think they can be better.
Yeah.
12 weeks down the line, they are
smashing out the park,
operating way better than they were at 22.
Yeah.
And it's like life's just got going for them.
Yeah.
So they've gone from 32 thinking, I want to be how I were at 22.
Yeah.
Now they're operating on a level better than they ever were at 22, better physically, better mentally, in a position where they can propel their career forward. And they're wishing, why didn't I do this before?
100%. Well, this brand is, you know, going to be accelerating these guys in their early 20s and even younger. And then also drilling into these guys that are in their 30s and early 40s. And, you know, they might be quite successful, but drilling them and giving them a second wind in life where they're going to feel like superhumans.
Yeah, and that's it. So we've got like one coaching program, which is for people who are like early on in their stages. And it's like, we just want to work entirely on the physique, build the discipline, build the habits, build the mindset. Mm-hmm. And this is for those up and coming. That's then going to like open their mindset and the doors into bigger things. Yeah. But physique's the main pillar. Yeah. Then we've obviously got they want to operate on a higher level, high performance and physique and health.
Yeah.
And this is those guys who are usually more mid-20s into their 30s, and they're getting a little bit more career focused with where they want to go, and we can help direct them into that lifestyle by building the traits, operating on a higher frequency. Yeah. And then we've got obviously a package where we're working with very high-end CEOs, business people, and they're already operating on a high level, but we can take it to another level by looking deep into their blood work, into their health, curing deficiency, improving their fitness, improving their physique, just to bring them up again. Yeah. So it's for anyone really who is just wanting to become the very best version, whether they're in the start out stage, whether they're in the middle phase, or whether they're already, you know, really far on in the career. But there's always more.
Always.
Yeah.
Always. I mean, like I said, the way I think, I could tell a 90-year-old guy that there's always more. That's how I think, and that's how I'm always going to think, and that's how I'm going to think till I die, because you only get one life. And like, I'm just going to keep believing that glass is half full. And if I can get that across to a million people within my life, which is more than capable, then I can go to bed at night knowing that I've put better into the world.
And what would you say to those guys who are that little bit later on, but now they've got more commitments, they've got family potentially, they've got a missus, they've got a 9-to-5 job, which obviously these younger guys might not have.
Yeah.
To these guys, what would you then say if they're saying, I don't have the time?
Yeah, I mean, time's the biggest myth on this earth because, everyone can make time. It's not time, it's priorities, isn't it?
Yeah, I always use the analogy. Look, if I told you your mum was dying in 7 days, would you get to your mum's house for 45 minutes before work every day?
Yeah.
Of course they would.
Of course they would, because they would make time.
And usually I just don't think they don't make the time because they lack belief that they can do it, so they don't invest the time.
Yeah.
So I think it does all root back down to self-belief, because we know for a fact that these CEOs, these execs operating on that really high level, they actually get the best results, mate.
Yeah.
And the reason why they get the best results is because they have so much structure, they've got so much routine, they've got their diary on every 15 minutes of the day, which we run through with them and we go, right, where's all the non-negotiable tasks that are in there? Let's now work fitness in, let's work all your meals in. And because they work on such a structure, then we've given them a sustainable approach that works in that structure. All they do is run through their structure, and then they're just following stuff every single day.
Yeah.
And then they get the results because they're never going to fall out of their structure.
Yeah.
Usually the guys that say I'm busy are the guys that are sat watching TV for 2-3 hours, but because they don't have everything diaried out and organized a week in advance, the day up front, they then think they're so busy when actually they just don't have clarity in all the tasks they've got to do and tick them off as they go.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost, they've got to have a conversation with themselves. This is as important as, it's a non-negotiable, so it's as important as brushing my teeth. That's like my steps when I wake up before I go to the office or wherever they may be going is a non-negotiable. So if someone goes to book a meeting in or a phone call that time, they'll take that phone call, but they'll take it on while they're doing their steps. But they will find a way if they really want to. And these guys that are already successful, they know how to do that because they aren't where they are through chance. And
how, I would say with Dubai, one of the biggest things, obviously, because we work in the corporate field as well.
Yeah.
How many hyper successful people do you see at the gym every day? So many. How many Rolls Royces, Lamborghinis, McLarens, Bugattis, Ferraris are you seeing rocking up at the gym every day? Everyone, but that's because it's a non-negotiable, and they make their steps a non-negotiable because it's the time when they can think. They're outside of work and they can actually think and get good vision. But then the training it's like fatiguing the body, and the mind's all in that. And that's what's going to free the mind, and that is as a non-negotiable. They see that as part of their work day. And these guys operating on that level, that is in their work day. That's just part of their work routine. It's like as important as taking a meeting. That's what then we have to obviously get across to, the guys who are wanting to live that lifestyle. It's a non-negotiable. You've got to have the habits before you become that guy.
Yeah, it's channeling in what they're already doing into a health and fitness lifestyle. So when they go to the office, they've got structure throughout their day. It might not be the office, whatever business they do. There's some way that's making that successful. And 9 times out of 10, they've got structure in place. So all they've got to do is copy and paste that strategy and put it into their health and fitness journey and whatever their non-negotiables are. And usually they can slide across quite easily because, like I said, they're used to them processes.
And what would you say to someone who was like, you know what, I'm already making 7 figures a year. And I've not even been to the gym yet. Not in that good a shape. Why should I go to the gym? What would you say if someone said that?
Well, firstly, you're just a naive piece of shit to life, because basically, if you've got £1 million and you're severely overweight, but I've seen this before. You're severely overweight or you're not in shape. You're just doing yourself a disservice. And you go back to the 4 pillars of life. There's a guy I follow, Ty Lopez, and he talks about it. And he's like, if one's out of check, they're all out of check.
Agreed.
So you've got health, wealth, love, and happiness. So you've got wealth, health, and happiness, but you haven't got love, the other three are out of check.
Yeah.
So that goes back to it. So if you've got $1 billion in the bank, you drive a Ferrari, you've got a good wife, but you haven't got your health in check. See, there's probably guys in the office now, and there's probably guys that are going to listen to this clip that are 45, they've just had a new baby, they've had a baby quite late, and in 20 years, they're going to be 65 years old, and that kid's going to be 20. Now, do you want to see that kid when you're 20, or do you want to be a really, really ill 65-year-old because you just neglected your health and you just, put it on a back burner?
I think that's a big thing, because I think a lot of people think that money alone, like finance is important, right? But finance alone without the health in check is pointless.
Yeah.
Because I think they fall into a trap of thinking, oh, money, I can support my family.
Yeah.
But if you're not in good health, you can't support your family. Like if you're ill and you're always getting ill, you're always in hospital, and something happens to, your daughter or to your wife or to your parent, you can't show up as the best version of yourself. And this is what this is all about, becoming the best version of yourself, not just physically, not just mentally, not just financially, like the 360 approach. Yeah. Because I had this with my mum. It was like when she was ill, I was like, if she's ill and I was in bad health, if I had more finance, I'd be able to turn up more for her. But then if I was in bad health with finance, how can I turn up for her? You've got to be someone who's strong, disciplined, like mentally. Yeah. So if all I do when I go and see my mum is I bring positivity, I show a strong mindset, that's going to lift her up on a higher frequency. Yeah. If I then go and I'm physically strong, that's good. If I'm physically healthy, I can always turn up. I'm never going to miss seeing her because it's not like I'm in hospital. And then if you're there financially, you can help them as well. Like you've got to have all aspects to show up for your family, for your loved ones, for your friends. Yeah. Money alone is pointless.
Well, you're going to get respected more as well. Like someone that, if you turn up to an office and you're a CEO and you're just a lump, like a large fat lump, you ain't going to get as much respect as if you walk in and you look after yourself and and then also going back to relationships at home, like your family's going to look up to you, like they're going to look up to you and see what you're doing every day in your daily habits. And that alone should be enough to make you want to be like that.
I think that's one of the biggest things, respect,
Yeah.
Respect gained when you are looking a certain way. Because people like to say, oh, don't judge book. People like to say, don't judge a book by its cover. But that's what the world does. Like within the first 0.4 of a second, there's studies on this. People have made a judgment on whether they trust you or not, or whether they whatever. Yeah. So if you're a doctor, for example, and you look at a shape, you're in bad health, and you're sat in a waiting room, someone's just going to instantly think, Whereas if someone walks in and he's confident, good posture, he's in mint shape, they're like, I want him as my surgeon.
That energy as well.
Yeah, and people just look for people who look capable, physically, mentally, and the amount of like opportunities and networks I've made and been approached by looking the way I look in a place. Yeah. You know, I've been sat in places on the plane and then people have asked to come and sit next to me
sure.
and start conversations. I'll be in a beach club in a VIP section and someone will walk over and start a conversation because of how I looked. Mm-hmm. They'll be like, Jesus, you're in shape, mate. And then you've made an amazing connection, which takes you. And people just respect you before they've spoken to you.
Sure.
Even if you are hyper successful and you weren't in shape, nobody wants to fucking approach you.
Nah, like there will, I believe in the next like 10 to 15 years, you'll see a lot of billionaires, millionaires training, running, doing.
It's already happening over here.
Yeah, it's happening now. Like you look at Elon Musk and who's he fighting? I can't even. Mine's
Bezos or something.
Yeah, Bezos and Elon Musk, like they're both training MMA now. They want to fight each other, and obviously there's a lot of ego involved. But the trend is like you'll see a lot of now multi-millionaires and then billionaires. Before it was cool to have a wealth belly, right? It was like an indication of
you've got more money for food.
Now it's like you're a loser if you got that. And also like just like take a step back and think about it yourself, right? Would you rather be driving on that Dubai Marina out there in a matte black Ferrari, and would you rather be in shape or a fat lump? You'd rather be in shape.
Yeah, of course you would.
You've got it all. You tick all the boxes.
Yeah, I always say it always comes back down to if you were going to be a movie character of yourself and you were watching yourself on the highest level,
yeah,
would you ever think I'm going to be that fat prick driving around in my Lambo, got sweat dripping off me because fucking it's 24 degrees and I've just got fucking my eyebrows dripping into my fucking face? Like, that's just unhealthy fucking behavior. Like, no, you're going to be in shape. You don't have to have, you know, stacked loads of muscle, but you need to be fit. You need to be athletic. You need to be healthy. Yeah. Like, the best version of yourself is not a fat prick.
No way. Absolutely not. And like you said, like, if you've got that level of wealth, or, you know, it doesn't have to be wealth, but I'm saying if you're in that position, would you not rather enjoy it whilst also feeling superhuman? Because I know I would.
Yeah, imagine being, right, even just right now. So I'm a 35-year-old guy, loaded, massively overweight. I've got a kid over there, nice house. Yeah. And the kid says, can you grab me that toy? And you're like, no, I can't. And then you fucking start sweating because your belly's in your way. And then, like, that's not the life. Like, you want to be active. You want to be a role model to your kid. Your kid wants to look up to you and think he's an absolute machine. Yeah. That if I deep what my purpose is, I want to become the best version I can, help as many people, be able to then meet the best partner, to then have the best family, and then be such a role model to my family that my family then turn into like the highest operating people with the best morals, like there is. Yeah. And that all stems with me doing the work on myself first. Which means I can then become the best I can be physically, mentally, financially, health-wise. Yeah. Meet the best partner, because you can't demand the best woman on the planet if you're a fucking piece of shit. Like, even if you got money, if you're a fat prick, it doesn't mean anything. Yeah. Then you're gonna meet like a woman on your frequency. Then you're gonna have kids, and then they're gonna look up to both parents. Like, that is what I want to be. If you are overweight. 35, 40, and you've got a kid, you're just being a selfish prick, raising your kid to be unhealthy.
Wasn't it recently when, I can't remember who it was, I think it was Bezos, and his wife was at like some awards, and Leonardo DiCaprio rolled up, and she looked at him like he was the best thing since sliced bread, and like, he's just a fat prick, and you know, he's a good looking bastard, and like that remains to be seen, doesn't it? Like, and also like, one point, every single person watching this, think back to when you were a kid and think of your mates' dads or mums who train.
You looked at the one who's a machine.
Yeah, think about all them mums. Maybe you go around and a dad, he was a runner, a long distance runner, or a boxer. That kid, I guarantee you now, as an adult, everyone can think back and then use this as an example. Guarantee you now, you look back and that kid is in a similar position themselves, because the apple does not fall far from the tree.
How many like pro footballers where their dad's a footballer or something like that? Like, it just follows on. Like, I know, like, my dad was very disciplined, hardworking at work. Like, he didn't tell me to ever do that, but I just like fell into that, and that's just from like a role model perspective. Whether you don't directly tell your kid to do it, like it just happens. And like you said, if you're a kid and you don't know anything, you just look at who is like the biggest inspiration here, and you just want to be like them. It's like a superhero.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, you know, the moral of the story is, if you're going to be, you know, because we're on the point of successful people in their 40s plus, the moral of the story is, if you're going to be successful, in order for that to be complete success, you need to have your health and fitness intact. And like you said, it doesn't have to be six packs of muscle. You know, it just needs to be so that you're waking up and you're performing and thinking on an optimal level day to day.
Yeah. And the thing is, I think the problem is people also think that being healthy is, oh, I just had an avocado when I went out the other day. Like, no, you can eat healthy and be overweight and have too much body fat and you're unhealthy. Their blood work's horrendous. Sure. Right? The first thing is get back to a healthy weight. Get lean. If you're a guy, you want to be between 8 and 12% body fat. If you're a female, between 18 and 24% body fat. If you're above that, I don't care if you fucking eat an avocado and spinach every day, you're unfucking healthy. Yeah. So, and your blood work will be shit. Yeah. And your blood work, like, is what is your health. Yeah, it's your internal health, right? And that's what's going to cause disease. So, you know, first things first is get in good shape. You're then going to feel better, and then you're going to be a better role model to everyone around you.
And if you're over 40, like, surprise, surprise, if you don't start lifting weight and it doesn't have to be heavyweight, but if you don't start doing some form of resistance training, in the next 20 years, our trophy is going to kick in.
Yeah, you lose all your muscle.
You're going to lose all your muscle mass. Everything's going to be difficult. You're in for a surprise.
That's one of the biggest causes of like early death, though, like losing muscle, because like the first thing you think of when you look at an old person that's ill is they're like this and they've got no muscle, they're frail. Yeah. Whereas you'll see how many times have you seen like an 85, 90-year-old guy in the gym pumping, and you're like, he's not dying anytime fucking soon. Nah. It's because he's got muscle mass. He's still got good posture. Yeah. And it's, if you let yourself go, that's one thing. Like, obviously I'm really big on the health side. Yeah. One thing I've pushed really hard within my parents is like, look, let's get you in the gym. I'm going to coach on a nutrition point of view. Yeah. Let's get you resistance training. It's not all about just losing weight. It's about losing body fat, but simultaneously building muscle. People mix that up quite a lot. Yeah. I think people get so obsessed with weight. Weight must come down. But if you're just in a diet, not resistance training, you're losing muscle and body fat. And the last thing you want to do is, if you're in your 30s or older, is start losing muscle. Mm-hmm. Like, you want to be resistance training with an expenditure target, with good nutrition from good food sources, programmed in a way that means you can build tissue, lose body fat, drive into condition, and then start reversing that food back up. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
100%. Mate, we're running out of time. We've got some discovery calls to get on with. So I appreciate it.
Bit tired tonight. Boxed up.